classic. And there are several others as well. Vikings is good. There are a number of others that I've enjoyed over the years. Ted Lasso is really good as well. Funny, of course, but Ted Lasso is good. And for me, this ones I mentioned and a host of others make for compelling TV. They make for truly compelling TV. And speaking of compelling TV, will the live coverage of the Presidential Elections Tribunal will that make for compelling TV in your estimation? Will it? But before I move on to the story for this discussion in this hour, there was a comment I received for the previous conversation, the previous hour, in response to my rant. I really like to read it. I was supposed to read it, but I didn't have enough time before the break would come up, and then the news came up top of the hour at 4 p.m. So I think I'll just read that right now and then move on. Dio, I got a shock last night. Last night there was a terrible fire disaster at Market Lane opposite Rumamasi Market, Rumamasi. I think it's the same fire. I think it's the same one. I called Rivers Fire Service. The person that picked the call said they do not have fire trucks. Can you imagine? You've been no single truck upon all the flyovers. He advised me to call Shell or Federal Fire Service. Thank God for Shell, Total and Federal Fire Services. They were very effective. However, the fire destroyed the building at Gold from Rumamasi. And, while it's extremely commendable at the likes of Shell, Total, and you always hear Shell, by the way. People call the fire department and they always respond, which is another remarkable thing. They always respond whenever they're called. And of course the Federal Fire Service has to respond anyways. But it's a good thing that they do respond, especially the fire department of Shell, Total, or any other company for that matter. But it's not their primary responsibility. And the Rivers State government cannot shelve that responsibility because Shell has a fire department that responds, or Total, or because of the presence of the Federal Fire Service. No, you can't shelve that responsibility. All right, moving on from that. So here's the story for this conversation. Atiku, PDP applied for live coverage of court proceedings. Here's the story. The PDP and its presidential candidate in a just concluded presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, have filed an application for an order to allow the live coverage of the daily court proceedings on the case they brought against the president-elect Bola Tinubu, which begins today. In the motion by his legal team, he specifically applied for an order directing the court's registry and the parties on modalities for admission of media practitioners and their equipment into the courtroom. Atiku, two-time presidential candidate of the PDP, said the petition was a matter of national concern and public interest. Now, his argument is that the case involved citizens and electorates in the 36 states of the Federation who took part in the just concluded presidential polls, while adding that the international community is interested in Nigeria's electoral process. In their motion, they also contend, in quote, with the huge and tremendous technological advances and development in Nigeria and beyond, including the current trend by this court towards embracing electronic procedures, virtual hearing, electronic filing, a departure from the rules to allow a regulated televising of the proceedings in this matter is in consonance with the maxim that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. Televising court proceedings is not alien to this court and will enhance public confidence, the petitioners noted. So let's talk about this for a bit. In your estimation, should the Presidential Elections Tribunal, should it be televised live? Should it have live coverage? And if you think so, what impact would it have? What would be the purpose? What purpose would it serve? What would be the effect on the proceedings and possible outcome of the proceedings as well? Let's talk about this for a bit. The line's open now. Call 0817 93 0002. That's 0817 93 0003 or 0817 93 0007. We are live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Also joined via Twitter and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. Should the Presidential Elections Tribunal be televised live? What impact or what purpose would that serve if it is televised live? And would it have any consequence on the proceedings itself and whatever the possible outcomes might be? Let's get your take on this at this time. I've got some comments coming in already, and we'll attend to those in a moment. But I think I've got a couple of calls actually coming in, which I will also get to in a bit. All right, we've got Ifeanyi from Chobe on the line. You're welcome, Ifeanyi. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, Dayo.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I think, genuinely, what the judiciary now owes Nigeria is to do the right thing. But in the process of doing the right thing, I think the basic or the least now is to restore the confidence that Nigerians have on them. And in starting to do that, they need to televise that hearing.
Why is televising it connected to restoring the confidence?
Capacity, or that appeal court has a 1 million capacity sitting, it will not be enough to contain people who have interest. To be very honest, if it were to be said that anybody can come from anywhere in the part of the country, don't be surprised people will take flights from here to Abuja just to be part of, because lives are dependent on this.
You're saying that this will help to restore confidence in the judiciary. What is the link?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to say people may not mind observing what's happening, and I understand that. I get that, but how will this restore confidence in the judiciary exactly?
Okay, how you restore confidence is that there is no gainsaying, or it's not a new thing that it has become a common mantra that people tend to think. Okay, let me not call it a mantra, but that people tend to think our judiciary has been compromised. Why? Because of some strange judgments that they've given out in recent times. The most recent of them that have something to do with election matters is that of the Senate President's primary. That a case was dismissed based on technicalities and not actually on if the judiciary was.
Even if you don't know right now, a quick Google search will give you all this information in an instant. So,
the truth again, just like I said earlier, let's even say, why don't we copy it as a best practice? How it happens all over the world. It happened at the most recent I saw of late is Kenya. It also happened even in the probing of the past U.S. president, called his name, Donald Trump. All those hearings, he's charged for treason or whatever. All those hearings was on live television. We just need to restore some confidence. We don't need to show the world that actually the judiciary is not what it is intending them in the forward and can good.
All right. Quickly from Mouse, go ahead.
I want to say yes. Let the Tribunal Proceedings show life to Nigerians.
Why?
One, we claim that we want to borrow everything from the European countries. Let's also borrow this one too, as we claim that we borrow everything. Let us borrow the to show it to Nigerians, like everyone to watch it. The outcome of it, whether it be brave, if this is shown life, the judges will be careful because they know everybody is watching them, so they will not try to come. So that's the thing. That what Nigeria will join to show and they will respond to the judiciary. This is the first time the judiciary one will tell you that the judge Nigeria to this election that government will show Nigerians to watch it and judge to be fair.
Hello. Oh. 0817 join via facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Via Facebook to Kimby Timothy. Amechi Ephraim both go yes. Samuel Saraya goes yes, it should be live. Ephraim will say it's a nice one. Cast live, and what effect or impact would they have on it itself or even the possible outcome? It's absolutely necessary for the petitions tribunal sitting to be televised so that the entire world will follow the proceedings and ascertain if the outcome is a reflection of the case before it. Absolutely, Daya. More than ever before, Nigerians are very much interested in this case. We need to hear the day-to-day happenings because most of us think this election was hijacked. That's from Hanson. If the Presidential Tribunal is televised live, it will give the Nigerian citizens the opportunity to take part, and it will not. Okay. All right. We'll come back to that later on. If the Senate can resend that as well, it would be very helpful. Let this proceedings be aired live. A lot of injustice has taken place recently. If this one should go like that, there may be serious crisis. That's from Emmanuel. All right. I've got a Michael on the line. Michael, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Go on.
Welcome for the job, brother.
Thank you. Go on.
To me, if country as Nigeria have shame or they have conscience to do something right, I think it will be good to transmit the judgment online and let the whole world see the text based as in our knowledge and how we reason and how we think. I think it's good. I think that Ike Kuremadu judgment was televised online. I don't know if you remember Okuta panel.
No, hold on. I don't know if the Kuremadu case was broadcast live, and quite frankly, I don't think it was.
Okay.
Not in those societies that allow for that in some cases.
Some people conscious, they will be careful. Maybe people watching them, maybe their children will watch them, their relations and all that, maybe the international community as well.
But what change? What does that change? Is Brazil going to be watching TV as well?
No. At least he watch our conscience as in our. He sees everything is omnipotent and omnipotent, whether televise it or not, like or not. I think God is aware of everything we are doing.
So,
unless for someone that don't believe in God.
So you don't have the device then?
Yeah, as in to just whether you device it or not, don't think that it's going to change what has called what committed to, because left for me have been quite
effect at all, no impact as far as you're concerned. What is the
let everybody, because I think if it is televised live, a lot of people will have more interest of maybe reading the judgment, seeing at least watching the people that see. So as in today as a person, if you stand before camera, I think you'll be conscious of some certain things.
All right, Michael, your point noted. I do have to go for a commercial break shortly. Proceedings live and getting you look at that, not to shoot. What impact that possibly have? Stay tuned. Hard factor test.
Business, lifestyle, all these more make us more unique.
Info and her input, Harcourt, I'm Dial. 29 minutes are gone past 4 p.m. Discussions continue. Many thanks for staying tuned. And the matter of discourse at the moment, Atiku, PDP apply for live coverage of court proceedings. The PDP and its presidential candidate in the just concluded presidential election have filed an application for an order to allow the live coverage of the daily court proceedings on the case they brought against the president-elect Bola Tinubu, which begins today. In their motion, they are, amongst other things, also contending that with the huge and tremendous technological advances and development in Nigeria and beyond, including the current trend by this court towards embracing electronic procedures, virtual hearing and electronic filing, a departure from the rules to allow a regulated televising of the proceedings in this matter is in consonance with the maxim that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. Televising court proceedings is not alien to this court and will enhance public confidence, the petitioners have noted. Should the tribunal proceedings be broadcast live? What will be the on the proceedings? 0817-923-002, 0817-923-003. The recall. Also, as far as it goes, live or not live, anything they want to do, they will do it very well. INEC did their own under the nose of Nigerians. Then what is it? Ferdinand Miran goes, yes, it should be live for these three reasons. One, restore confidence in the judicial verdict. Make sure sounds a good thing. Okay. Number two, allow for public access and legal literacy for the Nigerian justice system. Okay. Three, demonstrate transparency and accountability in the process. I got someone to comment here. Was the collation of the presidential election not broadcast live? What happened? Dial, I believe it should be televised, because if it's televised, the judges will be under pressure to do what's right. Although we know some people do not have repentance. Good afternoon, Dial. Live tribunal proceedings. Dial, do you think we might be jumping the gun here? The proceedings will not be aired live. Be pleasantly surprised if that happens. Nigerian politicians as a bunch are morbidly afraid and scared of democracy and openness. Back to business as usual. Thanks. That's from Abu Karibal. The application to televise the tribunal proceedings is not out of place if the judiciary is ready to deliver true judgments. But to know them, that's from Nestle. And Manko goes, we recently heard about the case. It was done live. So in like manner, it's a no issue, and Nigerians are interested in it. So if it's televised, many Nigerians will feel involved and appreciate it. And once again, I think people have mentioned this as well. I'm not sure that the Kurima case was televised, even though I do stand corrected. And if I want to inform if it was, but I'm not sure whether the case was televised live, and I'm not sure why it should have anyways. It wasn't like it was a matter that most persons in the UK were concerned about, or it generated some national controversy, national attention. On the Nigerian scene, yes, but for those in the UK, the British, I'm not concerned them very much, so I'm was live. The line 0817. A reminder, the number is to call 0817-923-0002 or 0003 or 0007. Alright, some more comments. If the presidential tribunal is televised, it will give the Nigerian citizen the opportunity to take part in the process. It will not leave judgment in the hands of lawyers alone, because we can see the evidence presented at some article. Well, okay, I think I get the point you're trying to make. Hello there. Beaming the tribunal proceedings live will help to put the judicial officials on check to an extent, although our public officers have developed a brazen attitude in doing wrong when they want to. I watched the Ike Kurimadu case live on YouTube. Oh, really? Okay. All right. wasn't aware. Destiny from Ala George, you're welcome. Please go on.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so regarding whether or not there should be a live broadcast, in my own opinion, I think that there should be a live broadcast because when once you walk into a plaza or a mall and you find a CCTV camera in there, you would not want to think that you're like don't chase or you want to steal. I think that you would like to control yourself. So regarding those judges, I think that once they notice that, or once they know that it's going to be broadcast live, it will be a live broadcast, they would like to write judgment.
Yeah, Destiny. You're right. When people go into a case, be careful.
I think there will still be a way out to find out if the person stole or not.
Yeah, you can find.
And that's the punishable offense. If the person tries to steal.
Yeah, but stealing without cameras being present is punishable as well. Stealing under any circumstance is a punishable offense, whether or not there are cameras.
Yeah, it is. But I think you would want to be more conscious. And people are watching.
All right, Destiny, good to hear from you. Braid from Iribe, hi, go ahead.
Dario, good evening.
Hello, go ahead. Hello? I've got a few more comments over here. Good afternoon. I thought UK colonized Nigeria. The judgment of Ike Kwerimadu was televised live, and you get to see how the judge was reading out his offence. Everyone followed it, so Nigeria's judicial system should upgrade Emeka Arts from Emeka. Okay, so, well, once again, I do stand corrected. The Ike Kwerimadu case was televised then. I had no idea it was televised, as a matter of fact, or at least broadcast live. I don't know if it was on TV, but from the responses I'm getting now, obviously it was broadcast live, at least on YouTube. So, so that's that. Even though I'm still curious as to why. Okay, well, maybe because of the law in question, and it was the first time anyone was being tried using the Modern Slavery Act or the Modern Slavery Law in the UK to try a person. That may be the reason it was broadcast live. Possibly, I suppose. It's our votes at stake in the election tribunal, both Nigerians at home and in diaspora who voted, so it's not out of place to demand for live telecast coverage. It will enhance transparency and therefore will lend credence to the final judgment. Let it be seen that the right things are done, whatever the outcome will be, from Uchenna Nwachukwu. Good afternoon, televising the tribunal live is not a bad idea at all. But like in Nigeria, only those in position always see things that no one else sees. Would be the reason why I hold one debate, and that's right. Got about 20 minutes to go before 5 o'clock when the news update comes up. If you just joined in, you're welcome. We be applying for live coverage of court proceedings. So you see the pressure election petitions tribunal today should be broadcast live or televised. Do you think that should happen? And if you think so, what impact or effect do you think it would have on the proceedings? 902 also 0817 923 0003. Joining via Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. I'm of the opinion that those running for a live televising of the program should be responsible for the financial implementation. It shouldn't be at the expense of the taxpayers. Well, I'm not okay. Well, in the first instance, I'm not sure that the state had made any plans for that. Absolutely. I'm not sure that by the state I mean the country. I mean the federal government, or the judiciary for that matter. I doubt that any plans have been made for that. And to plan for that means you have to also budget for that as well. It would cost some money. They may need to get equipment, purchase, or secure the services of persons who do have the equipment. And of course, if it's going to be televised on a TV station, whether cable or terrestrial, you'd have to pay for that as well. To televise that live, even if you were recorded, whatever it is, you'd have to pay for it to be on. And live broadcast is some heavy change. I suspect strongly that if that has gone, Atiku team or this part of the PP will have the person coming with equipment. And the thing is this: if the tribunal gives the go ahead for that to happen, I suspect that other parties would want to take advantage of that as well. Of course, there would be some limit as to how many persons can come in or how many TV stations can come in, so that there is some sanity and all of that. But I expect that the petitioners are the ones who are going to bear that cost and not the state. Victor Romaba, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr.
Hello, go ahead.
Also, to have the live broadcast
Why?
of the proceedings in court. But, however, what about the witnesses that will come and how this now? Now.
I'm not getting you. How about what?
I mean, if the proceedings is broadcast live,
Yes.
then what about witnesses? Those witnesses, will they be protected?
Well, why do you think the witnesses need to be protected?
Going by the kind of thing we play. Okay, let me give you an instance. Like here, I'm in Abana.
Yeah.
Somebody now come and testify against the presidential candidate of the party. You know how people react.
Yeah, even in cases, I mean, my little knowledge of the judicial process, even in cases that are not televised on TV or broadcast on using any other platform, if the prosecution or defense is convinced that a witness, might feel threatened, or a witness might be endangered by testifying if their identity is made public, the court sometimes grants leeway for the identity of the witness to be protected. Sometimes they even go as far as covering the person's head or the person's face or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I'm sure that anybody who fears for the life of a witness can make such an application, and if the court agrees that person's identity needs to be protected, proper arrangements can be made for that. Even if it means that while that person is testifying, televising or broadcasting must be suspended, that can be arranged as well, I suppose.
If that can be done, then you should televise broadcasted live.
But why do you want it to be broadcast live?
So that it will be transparent for everyone to see, so that it will not be achieved. You are hearing from a third party.
All right, Victor. Still more comments coming in. And still taking your calls as well via Facebook. Also, Namanda goes, the application of live broadcast of presidential election petition is not out of context. Atiku is right. Okay. Via Twitter at Edge on issue, also Twitter, live broadcast or not, whatever the judiciary will decide comes from the evidence before them, so the live broadcast won't contribute anything positive if you don't have credible evidence to back up your case. And that's a very important point to note, by the way. Irrespective of how anyone feels about, the elections, the conduct of the elections, or the outcomes, or the results that were announced, the only thing that matters at the tribunal or any court of law, for that matter, is what you're able to prove. What you're able to prove is, even the truth doesn't matter. Even if the truth is that, Mr. A, who is declared winner in some election, did not actually win that election fair and square. Even if that's the truth, it's not enough that it's the truth. You have to be able to prove that in court. Mean that the decisions of the court will go the way that you want it to go because it is what's written in the matter.
Go ahead. Yeah, good evening. I think this is a very nice discussion. I'm actually of the opinion that the matter be live, they broadcast live. I have two reasons for that.
What are they?
Okay. So one of my reasons is, we on this other side, we always believe that the judiciary is biased. While I also feel that the judiciary, most of the time, they work with the evidences they have. So you might have a good case and you don't have enough evidence to back it up. You lose the case.
But that's not a good case. If you think you have a good case and you don't have the evidence, that's not a good case.
Let the world see the strength of our both parties and our evidences to prove a case. So it doesn't go back to say, hey, they don't bribe them. Hey, they are playing tricks. So that's my opinion. I think then secondly, my second opinion is, the parties involved and then the judiciary, parties involved also should be able to keep their mouth closed after everything, so they don't come out and paint fake stories that this was not what happened. That everybody is seeing what's happening firsthand, and everything is clear. So that's my opinion.
So for you, it's about protecting the judiciary.
I wouldn't use the word judiciary. Let the victims and let the judge experience. The election, you want to be sure that this one is credible and evident. Now they've declared a candidate from somebody he appointed as INEC chairman, has declared a candidate, and the populists are saying they are not comfortable with that result. So if he has to prove that the appointment and the result is genuine, then it has to be public. Let everybody see everything. And so his hands will be clean. And like Pharaoh, he can wash his hands off it.
Oh, maybe real judiciary as well.